Monique Chavez, thanks for tuning in.
Dixie State prides itself on having students from all over the world, making education a truly global experience. To properly celebrate, DSU is hosting an International Education Week starting the 18th. First, there will be a game of Capture the Flag on Monday at 4 p.m. at the Gardner Plaza, followed by a study abroad fair and language trivia on Tuesday at 11 a.m. in the Gardner Ballroom. Students can enjoy a Japanese lunch on Wednesday at noon in the Campus View Suites or challenge each other in a lip-sync battle at 7:30 p.m. again in the Gardner Ballroom. A new Miss DSU International will be crowned on Tuesday, also at 7:30 p.m. in the Gardner Ballroom. The jam-packed week will conclude on Friday with an international fiesta at 5 p.m. in the Gardner Ballroom.
Utah Governor candidate John Huntsman Jr. is coming to Dixie State. Huntsman was governor in 2004 and 2008 before stepping down from his position in 2009 to be the U.S. ambassador to China. He then served as an ambassador to Russia before resigning from his position in October. Huntsman announced this morning that he will be running for Utah governor again. Huntsman will be speaking on campus tomorrow at an event called Utah and the World. The event will be held in the Gardner Gotham Room at 11 a.m. Health Nuts and Hipsters DSU Dining Services just opened the trendiest spot on campus in the HPC. Grazer's offers avocado toast and other toast variations with bread that is freshly made every morning. There are also gluten-free options, a caramel cold brew, healthy snacks, and Bison Fuel, a Brazilian mint lemonade. All of the products used at this location are biodegradable and eco-friendly. The Grazer's name was previously used for a location in the cafe and has been reintroduced and completely transformed with the addition of the slogan, Food Fit for Trailblazers. Grazer's features a granite hot and cold table that maintains the temperature of the food. There are plans to expand the menu with the possibilities of acai bowls, chicken bowls, and Roxbury smoothies, which could be added as early as Monday.
While the Native American population on campus may not be large, they still celebrate their culture in a big way. Check it out. While students may be familiar with Black History Month or Hispanic Heritage Month, they might not know that since 1990, November has been federally recognized as Native American Heritage Month.
I think it's an honor to have not only like a month set apart for us Native Americans across the United States. I think it's special because it takes the time for like our whole country to know our history and like what needs to be heard, and that we are still here as Indigenous people, and that our language, our culture, it's still thriving to this day, and that we're the generation that like we're carrying it on for our past elders.
With over 100 Native American students here at Dixie State, they feel strongly about remembering and representing their culture, the good and the bad.
It's very important, though, that we kind of just remember our history, as messy and nasty as it is. But I do like the Native American Heritage Month because it keeps us in mind of like where we were, and then to also keep in mind where we don't want to be, and to kind of keep us from the things that we've done.
The big thing is that, number one, is that Native students are here. That we are a part of the culture of Dixie State. Dixie State is built on ancestral homelands. The encampment mall was settled on tribal land. We have the Shivlet Reservation just west of here. And so it is about that awareness that not only are Native students alive and well, but they're thriving. They are earning degrees. They are moving on to graduate degrees, getting employment in various fields, and show that they aren't a relic of the past. They aren't something that you see in a museum, or historically are a dying people. We want to show that they are that they're here.
To celebrate Native American Heritage Month, the Native American Student Association and the Multicultural and Inclusion Center are hosting several events over the month, such as making dream catchers and making fry bread.
We have a lot to offer, and we just want to just get our culture out there, so that way I guess we're all one, so that way we can all understand each other.
For more information, pick up this week's edition of the Dixie Sun News newspaper in any building on campus.
Diving in a spring semester might be easier now that you know that Scuba Club exists. DSU hosts a scuba club that travels to scuba destinations all over Utah. Reporter Christy Harris is getting all the details, so look for the article in next week's newspaper or visit DixieSunNews.com.
The Kappa Sigma fraternity is hosting a car wash at Fabulous Freddy's on Bluff Street this Saturday and Sunday. Half of the proceeds will go towards the fraternity and the other half will go toward veterans here in St. George. Tickets are $12 and it's open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. both days.
Well, this is actually Kappa Sigma's Military Heroes Campaign month, so it's a whole month committed to, fundraising for the Military Heroes Campaign. Yeah, the Fabulous Freddy's was amazing enough to let us use an entire tunnel.
Maybe.
Kappa Sigma is looking to hold more fundraiser events in the spring. DSU and community members gathered for the official ribbon-cutting ceremony of the Human Performance Center. The 155,000 square foot project was said to have taken 363,000 man-hours to complete, with half of the cost covered by DSU students. While the facility is completely free for Trailblazer students and staff, the community will only have access to the HPC once a year, beginning today for the first annual Community Day from 3 to 9 p.m. Naming opportunities for spaces in the HPC are still available.
So you've heard the term fake news, but how do you spot it?
The Dixie Sun News hosted a fake news edition this week to educate their readers. Reporter Jackson Chapman went around campus to see what our students know.
Fake news is a huge problem in our society, so I decided to test our students on campus to see how well they can identify fake news by pitching them some radical ideas. So I'm going to tell you some current events and news on campus, and I just want to get your opinion about it. Okay. Are you ready? Yep. Starting in January 2020, Chick-fil-A will be opening up on Sundays.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Wait, is that a real thing?
I would.
Wow, didn't know that actually.
I didn't know that either.
So now I can go get a frosted lemonade on a Sunday.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I eat Chick-fil-A all the time.
Okay.
I second that.
So will you eat at Chick-fil-A on Sundays?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Okay. It was proposed in Dixie's recent 5-year plan that they're going to install a gondola from Campus View, which is on the top of campus, all the way down to right here in front of the Holland.
So you can just hop on it and just ride across.
Oh yeah, I would do that.
What? That's so weird.
Do you think that's a good use of our tuition money?
No,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
You think that's a good use of our tuition money?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have no opinion. I don't know that.
Would you ride the gondola?
If it was there, probably, but I think they shouldn't make it.
Kanye West has officially announced his campaign for presidency in 2020, and in the most recent poll, he is winning by 5 points.
I also love that. Don't know if it's going to go good or not.
Are you kidding?
I'm not even joking.
We'll see how it goes if it happens.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you vote for him?
Yeah. I don't think he's qualified, but
I don't know what his agenda is.
Okay.
Sure. No, actually, no. I don't know, actually. I need to look into it more.
Okay. Last thing is, all of that was a lie. None of it was true.
okay.
Can you tell me why fake news is a problem in our society?
Because I believed you.
Well, also, you got me super excited about all this stuff, so, rude.
Because I totally believed you on every single thing. And I was like,
I don't know, I feel like it can, kind of cloud over the stuff that's actually happening, and so it's easier to not know what's really going on.
What strategies do you think we should have in order to identify fake news?
Going more towards, reliable news sources versus, Twitter or, what you hear on the street.
you just kind of gotta do your research more, look more into things. Just don't believe the first thing you read every day.
Slow down, use a little bit more common sense. If you've heard something, just go to the main source.
I hope now you guys can be more diligent in identifying what's real and what's fake. For Dixie Sun News, I'm Jackson Chapman.
Yeah, it's so important for people to be educated on fake news and how to spot it.
But I really wouldn't mind if Chick-fil-A was open on Sunday.
I don't think anyone would mind.
When we come back from break, I'll be talking to a Dixie State student about World Diabetes Day and what it really means to live with the disease.
There is a place where rocks bleed and nature blushes on a battlefield green with envy, where dimples determine destiny and a tiny wooden T holds the outcome in the balance. There is a place where friends are opponents and opponents are friends, where the prize is elusive, the conquest is captivating, and the score isn't settled till the drinks are down. There is a place.
I take the road less traveled, Run free, unwind, unravel someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello? That's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things. There it is. Keep going with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Hi, I'm here with Alexis McLean. Not only is she a Dixie State ambassador and the president of Lambda Pi Eta, the Communication Honor Society, but she is also a type 1 diabetic. November is Diabetes Awareness Month, and today is actually World Diabetes Day. So I'm going to talk to Alexis about her firsthand experience with it, the highs and the lows. Hi, Alexis. Welcome to Dixie Sun News at Noon.
Thank you.
So let's just start and get into the basics of what diabetes is.
Yeah, so diabetes is a disease. In normal people, your hormones are working every day to make sure that you're eating right and just breaking down food. People with diabetes don't have that. That hormone doesn't work for them. So basically that's what it is.
So what is it like living with diabetes? I know you were diagnosed at a fairly young age when you were 12.
Yeah, so it's a little different. I feel like at a young age I kind of had to take on some responsibility quickly and just learning through life what to expect, just especially because it's not common. Growing up I didn't know too many other children my age who had diabetes as well. So a lot of touch and go.
So over the years, what are some misconceptions that you've found that people have about diabetes?
The difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So type 2 usually is like you need to be healthy, you need to just lose some weight, eat right. Type 1 is really affected upon your body, and it's something that can't be fixed. Also, you know, everybody's always like, you can't eat candy. Common misconception. I love milkshakes. So it's not true.
Yeah, because I was reading up about type 1 diabetes and how it's not preventable and it's not curable. It's more of a genetic thing.
Yeah.
Based on age or your family history.
Yeah, in most cases, yes. For me, it's not, and they call it an autoimmune disease for a reason. No one in my family actually has type 1 diabetes, but they determined that, like me and some other type 1 diabetics, it's just that my body assumes that my healthy hormones are actually bad ones, and so it attacks itself and the whole thing goes south.
So you're a senior here and you've kind of built your whole capstone project around living with type 1 diabetes. Want to tell me about that and the campaign that you've started?
Yeah, so I wanted to do that with my capstone just because I felt like it was the right kind of niche for me. I knew a lot about it. I do know several people around campus, even someone on Ambassadors who is diabetic, so for me is just creating a connection between type 1 diabetics alike, but it's also creating a community.
So let's talk a little bit. So you have about the social media presence that you have about this. So you have an Instagram page that I love, and you have a kind of like a blog, a website.
Yes. So I started with the blog and then incorporated it onto the social media site. But I've noticed that social media is, you know, the way we all communicate mostly, and it's a great way to connect with people. So I've actually made flyers for type 1 diabetics here at Dixie to reach out to me to tell me their story, and actually the ones that I have interviewed were either from personal connection or they actually saw my Instagram page instead of the flyers. But yeah.
I've loved your website. There was one I remember about how people with type 1 diabetes get really exhausted, and so they'll call out of work a lot, but then they still get punished for it.
Yes. That one was just an interesting case. In most cases, personally, I try to inform my professors, my employers, even my coworkers of my disease, just that it might affect the way I work. But for that specific case, that profile hadn't talked to their employer before. And so the situation was, well, you're telling me this now. It's too late.
Yeah, but it's really interesting to see how diabetes, it doesn't just affect what food you're eating, but it really affects all aspects of your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, is there anything else that you would like to add about diabetes that I haven't asked?
No, I feel like you hit it all.
Okay, well, great. Thank you so much, Alexis. When we come back, Michael Sanaskoy will have the latest in sports.
There is a place where rocks bleed and nature blushes on a battlefield green with envy, where dimples determine destiny and a tiny wooden teeth holds the outcome in the balance. There is a place where friends are opponents and opponents are friends, where the prize is elusive, the conquest is captivating, and the score isn't settled till the drinks are down. There is a place.
I take the road less traveled, run free, unwind, unravel, someplace outside with lots to do. Green trees, red rocks, and don't forget that blue sky. The sunshine shining, sunshine pouring on me. Think I might just stay a while. Say hooray all day because the sun is gonna shine on me. Sun is gonna shine on me. Sun's gonna shine on me.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a unique mix of all kinds of things. There it is. He's gone with it. Leo! They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Back up the pass. He's going to score. 22-yard touchdown.
Team suffered a tough loss in their quarterfinal game against MSU Denver. The Roadrunners scored their first goal within the first 5 minutes of the game. The Trailblazers countered with a goal of their own scored by redshirt senior midfielder Alexa Ashton in the 31st minute of the first half. After DC tied the game at 1-1, it was a stalemate between the two teams, and the game went into double overtime. After double overtime, a penalty kick shootout was needed to determine the winner, and MSU Denver came out on top, winning the penalty kick shootout 4-3. After the penalty kick shootout, head coach Steve Galdas told his team he's proud of what they accomplished this season, their growth, competitive nature, and work rate. The women's soccer team will have to wait and see on November 18th if they receive a bid to go to the 2019 NCAA South Central Regionals. What a great season. Well done, boys. The men's soccer team defeated their in-state rival Westminster College 1-0 in their quarterfinal game. Senior forward Moises Medina scored the game-winning goal for the Trailblazers, and the win over the Griffins set up a semifinal matchup with number 14 ranked in Division II rankings, Colorado School of Mines. DC ran into a brick wall against the Ore Diggers as they lost their semifinal game 0-6. The men's soccer team finished their season with 11-8-1 overall record and 9-5 in conference play. The women's volleyball team split their last two games against Regis and Colorado Christian. The Rangers swept the Trailblazers 0-3. DC bounced back against the Cougars and defeated them by 3-1. Besides the win and loss from their last two games, the women's volleyball team has clinched a spot in the 2019 Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference volleyball tournament. Currently, DSU stands in the number 3 spot in the RMAC, and 5 other teams have clinched a spot in the tournament. Those 5 teams are number 1, Regis, number 2, MSU Denver, number 4, Colorado School of Mines, number 5, Colorado Mesa, and number 6, Colorado State Pueblo. These spots are not yet set in stone because there are 1 or more 2 games left for each team, meaning teams can still switch spots. Additionally, Black Hills State, Shattern State, and UCCS still have an opportunity to enter the 8-team tournament. The Trailblazers will have their last regular season game on the road against in-state rival Westminster College tomorrow night at 6 p.m. The smell of an upset went away as the football team were defeated by number 8 Colorado School of Mines. The Org Diggers came out of the game swinging as they pounded the ball in for a touchdown on their first possession. After Colorado School of Mines' first possession, the DSU's defense stumped their offense for 4 consecutive possessions, and the Trailblazers' offense were able to capitalize. The DSU offense put up 17 points in the second quarter, jumping ahead to a 17-7 lead. On their 5th possession, Colorado School of Mines answered back with another touchdown, making the score 17-14 going into halftime. In the third quarter, the Org Diggers put up 2 more touchdowns to take the lead, and the DSU offense only managed to score a field goal in the third quarter. Before the third quarter ended, the Trailblazers were driving, and they were able to punch in the touchdown to make the game close at 27-28. However, later in the fourth quarter, Colorado School of Mines scored 1 more touchdown to put the game away and take the victory over DSU 27-35. The football team will have senior day and their last game of the season at home against Adams State on Saturday at Trailblazer Stadium at noon. The women's swim team finished 4th out of the 4-team meet at the Brigham Young University Tri-Meet. The Trailblazers competed against BYU, Liberty, and UC Davis at their 4-team meet. DSU combined for 7 all-time marks and recorded multiple top 10 event finishes at the meet. Some notable finishes were the 400-yard medley race with the team of sophomore Gracie Kroll, senior Hannah Hansen, and freshmen Kelsey Wright and Kyrie Sutherland. They finished the relay race with a 6th and 9th place finish, and eventually Hansen finished the 200 breast 5th overall. The women's swim team will host its first ever on-campus meet on Saturday at 11 a.m. at the Health Performance Center building. Men's and women's cross country competed at the 2019 NCAA South Central Region Championships. The men's team finished in 14th place, also setting a new team best at regionals. Kyler Miller led the way for the men's team and finished at 28th place. The women's team finished in 8th place, marking a new team best at regionals. Junior Billy Hatch notched a 9th place finish, which earned her 2nd consecutive all-region honors and her 2nd straight trip to the NCAA Division II National Championships. Hatch will line up one last time this season for the NCAA Division II National Championships on November 23rd at Sacramento, California. Both women's and men's basketball season is officially back, and they began their season on the road. Women's basketball won their first game of the season against University of Texas Tyler, 75-41. Unfortunately, the Trailblazers lost their second game of the season to Midwestern State, 63-73. Senior forward Allie Franks came to play in those games, posting a combined total of 32 points, shooting 38% from the field, 3 for 6 from downtown, and has 14 boards. Men's basketball won both of their games against Texas A&M Commerce and University of Texas Tyler. The Trailblazers defeated the Lions 71-66 and defeated the Swoops in overtime 191. Senior guard Jack Pagenkopf was dominated on the floor and earned himself RMAC Offensive Player of the Week. Pagenkopf posted from the games combined 26 points, shooting 48% from the field, grabbing 24 boards, and notched the first triple-double in the Trailblazers program's NCAA era. Women's basketball will have their first 2 home games of the season against La Sierra tomorrow at 2 p.m. and Life Pacific on Saturday at 3 p.m. at Burns Arena. Men's basketball will also have their first 2 home games of the season against Providence, Montana tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. and St. Martin's on Saturday at 8 p.m. at Burns Arena.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is a lot going on. We got women's basketball, men's basketball both going on at Burns Arena. I can't wait to go check those games out on Friday and Saturday. It's going to be fun to go watch.
And how exciting for Women's Swim to have their brand new Olympic-sized swimming pool indoors. It's such a beautiful place.
Yes, definitely. And have you checked out the pool yet, Steph?
I haven't, but I was really thinking about that. Like, it's brand new, and just pretty much as soon as it opens, we get to start hosting our meets, which I just love that.
Yes, and I cannot wait to go see them go race against Biola this Saturday. It's going to be really fun to go check them out.
And I can't wait for basketball to have their home games, because I know they started out, but I want to see those basketball games this year.
Yes, definitely.
And that's it for this week's Dixie Sun News at noon.
Catch us here next week, same time, same place.
Have a great week, Trailblazers.